Hello Voltheads, you are watching the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators. And welcome to the first ever Captain's Commpod. Today we've got the first ever episode of a non-gameplay video, and it's a pretty special one to be fair, because it is a book review of the upcoming KeyForge novel from Aconyte Publishing, the Qubit Zirconium. This is the second book that they've published from the KeyForge line, and it is due out pretty shortly. I've managed to get an advanced reader copy, and it will be published on ebook in April, as you can see, also as well in paperback form in the US in April, and then in the UK on May the 13th. So we haven't got very long to wait for this. We should be well into Dark Tidings by then, but it would be something to look forward to after that. Now, as I was saying, it is the second book that they've published. The first one was Tales from the Crucible. Okay, now that was actually an anthology book, so it had short stories, various different characters, various different houses. I have made my way through that book. I was lucky enough to get an advanced copy of that as well, and I reviewed it. There is a review for that one in the comments. It was originally published last year in September, so September 2020, although it was expected a little bit earlier, but obviously COVID impacted a lot of things. There were 9 short stories within the anthology of stories. I really like them all actually, lots of different variety, but also as well, these two characters who you can see here, Wibble and Plims, they were featured in the 8th story in the anthology. There may be 1 or 2 spoilers for their story in the anthology at this point, so if you don't want them, you might want to skip forward until the Tales from the Crucible picture disappears. But yes, in their story in Tales from the Crucible, it's narrated by a first person. The first person is their client. Their client comes to them because their sister has gone missing, and the client hires the pair of them to try and help rescue the sister from a job that has gone awry. Now they agree to take the job on. They actually then with their client, meet their client and say, right, we're gonna go to this location because we've brokered a trade, and then they meet up once more with the client, and they take the client with them into the very bowels of Dis itself, beneath Hub City, into the caverns and catacombs where the creatures and demons of Dis lay, and it goes on from there. And again, warn you, spoiler alert for Tales from the Crucible, that tale really does have quite a twist at the end. I was very impressed with it. I really liked it. Also as well, in terms of the book as a whole, the 2 characters who are featuring in the book that I'm going to be reviewing in a moment, Wibble and Plims, the private investigators, the interactions between the 2 of them were some of the most fun interactions between characters throughout the book. I did really like the book as a whole. One of the stories was basically pretty much a game of KeyForge told from the perspective of one of the creatures taking part, representing the Archons battling to open the vault, which was great. There was another story which was about people who reenact famous vault battles, a vault battle being the game of KeyForge that you or I would play. So there were some really good things in there that were great for players, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading it. So when I discovered in December that there was going to be a second fiction work for KeyForge published by them, I was very much anticipating it. Now, as I say, it features 2 characters, Wibble and Plims. This one right here is Wibble. She is borderline translucent. At times she's described in different ways. She is capable of using force by grasping, holding. She can change her shape. She can also potentially produce an electric charge. She floats in the air. She's roughly the size of a football. Also, as well, at times within the story, she changes colour, and she changes the colour of her appearance. Now, sometimes she does it willingly, and can almost make herself borderline see-through, but sometimes it appears that she's doing it involuntarily and as a result of a change within her emotions or excitement or something like that. So she's a fun-loving, excitable character. This is Plims. They are as you can see, very dapper, finely dressed cyborg. They are the straight being to Wibble's fun-loving, outgoing, excitable nature. They're more serious. They sometimes look at Wibble in bemusement and despair at the sort of fun-loving nature, possible immaturity sometimes shown by Wibble, and they are a little bit more stoic, a little bit more thinking. And yes, these 2 characters are what makes the story. They made the short story, their interactions, their banter, they're talking with each other, and I would say that they definitely mould this one together really well. The Qubit Zirconium itself, I mean, it's a KeyForge book. If you're following me because I'm a KeyForge channel, so it is set clearly on the Crucible. The Crucible obviously being the patchwork world created from little chunks of other planets and cultures stolen by the architects, whenever that may be. That's where it is. In this story, Wibble and Plims are approached by a former client. I'm not going to go too much into it, so this is pretty much spoiler free. You don't have to worry about me ruining the book for you. But they're approached by a former client who contacts them. Taylor the Taupe, he is an elf, and he contacts them and says he's in trouble. He doesn't really give them much information, to be honest, about how he's in trouble, why he's in trouble, and the kind of help he would like them to provide. But he lets them know he's in trouble, and he asks them to come and help him, and they agree. It begins as how do we solve this heist? It begins as a story of an item has gone missing, an accusation of theft, and they're trying to find out who has actually stolen the thing that has gone missing. Okay, and then from there, it turns from an everyday investigation and escalates into almost a road trip of sorts, leading the duo around various locations in the Crucible, some of which a player will recognise and know from specific cards, while they try and unravel the true mystery of which they've been embroiled in. I mean, as a KeyForge player, there was a lot to love about this story. Some of the creatures that we have in the game, creature cards, some of the artifacts that we have in the game will pop up, they will appear, they will be referenced, and it's nice to hear them. You know, I really liked that. Also as well, some of the names featured in the book really just made me smile. I loved the names. They were so KeyForge, the way some of these names were written. It really just made me smile, and I really liked it. Also as well, for someone who's not necessarily a KeyForge player, these don't feel shoehorned in and forced, and they wouldn't detract from the story. You wouldn't need to know about the game of KeyForge to appreciate this, or to make your way through it. So yeah, as a player, I was really happy to see these things in there and get these references and stuff like that. But also as well, for a non-player, I don't think they would do any harm at all. I really don't. I mean, I personally, I found the story very entertaining. I mean, as I say, at times it felt like a road trip or a buddy movie, and very, very funny. Sometimes it was a sort of thrilling mystery, leaving you wondering, what the next clue they were going to find was, and where it was going to lead them, and which house was going to pop up next, and what potential characters could come along with that house. The book itself was pretty fast-paced. Each new location and encounter that we came across always seemed to give us a new clue, a new creature, or a new piece of the puzzle. I was never disinterested, and I always felt that we were moving forward and actually getting somewhere and getting to a resolution. So I really, really liked that. In terms of is there anything that I didn't like about it? I found it really quite hard to find anything that I didn't like about it. I was really happy with the conclusion, the end of the story. I really enjoyed the journey that the characters took along the way to resolve the mysteries that were placed in front of them. I mean, I'll say this, maybe we could learn a little bit more about the leads, because we don't find out that much about them, but this isn't an origin story, and as well, in a world of unknowns and infinite possibilities, would it really make sense to actually know everything about the two people you're reading about as well? So how would I rate it? Well, to be fair, I would rate it 5 Ember Shards out of 5. There wasn't anything that I disliked about it. I did enjoy it from start to finish. I never felt like it was dragging for me. I really love the interactions between the two characters. I feel that there was enough KeyForge in there that to someone who plays the game and knows the game and appreciates the game, they're going to be happy with it. Equally, I feel that there wasn't too much in there, that it was pushed and forced, and that someone who doesn't play the game is going to find it detrimental to it. So yeah, I was very happy with it. In terms of it coming out, there you are again. So it's going to be out on ebook on April the 6th. You will be able to purchase a paperback copy in the US on the same day, April the 6th as well. If you're in the UK, you'll be looking at May the 13th, and then you'll be able to get your hands on a copy, and you can pre-order it right now from your possible friendly local game store or from a lot of the good booksellers around. Thanks for watching, so feel free to like and subscribe. I love comments and criticism, so please feel free to leave those. I'll hope to see you next time, but until then, may the Forge be with you.